It's no secret that gamers and employees alike are dissatisfied with today's game companies. Not every game company is guilty of the faults we're about to cover, but they're overwhelmingly the majority when it comes to total industry revenue. First up, high costs. AAA studios spend over $10 million per game on development, and that's on the low end. Marketing budgets are an additional 2 to 3 times that. A flop at this budget range could bankrupt a studio, resulting in much more conservative design. Additionally, the amount of money that gamers have to spend on each game means that gamers can't play as many games. Each buy decision is a serious investment, limiting your breadth of experience. Also related, when it takes companies over a year to get something out to their players, it's difficult to give the players what they really want. The sooner you can get user feedback, the sooner your game can adapt. Yet most AAA publishers spend over 2 years making a game before their customers see it. No wonder games like Destiny, designed to be social worlds, felt alienating and silent at launch. Not to mention, the longer development time means longer until seeing any financial return, stretching companies further. Third, hierarchy. The top-down approach of most game companies stifles creativity. All the major decisions, from which games are made to which features are included, get made by a small number of people. Employees working at lower levels are treated like cogs in a machine, with no obvious path to a creative position in the company. Not only does this lower motivation and morale, but it also subjects us to the design whims of a few people, resulting in less diverse games. In addition to this imposing management style, the game industry uses some very disheartening practices. Ever heard of cyclical firing? This money-saving technique is standard practice in the industry. Here's how it works. Companies start with a relatively small pre-production team, ramp up the studio size as production begins, then fire everyone not needed for pre-production of the next game. So often, the reward for shipping a successful game is the axe. This lack of job security causes financial stress and relationship strain for workers who have to constantly move to new jobs. Sure, the studio saves money in the short term, but is the loss of employee loyalty and motivation worth it? Another huge problem is perpetual crunch. Because of poor management, employees are expected to work 12+ hour days to hit release deadlines, often working months of unpaid overtime without seeing their families. With cyclical firing, crunch, and a lack of creative mobility, it's no wonder people last an average of 5 years in the industry before switching vocation. That's right, what should be one of the funnest industries to work in is so hellish, most people don't stick around. 5. No moral equity. Many game companies care about profits first and everything else second. The player is a vessel from which to extract as much wealth as possible. But even companies that put player enjoyment as their first priority are missing something. Games take up a significant amount of our time. Their influence cascades across all of society, but I've rarely seen a game company take that influence into account. Sure, you can simply pursue fun in and of itself, and that has value. But what if game companies aimed to improve the world through their games? Just something to think about. 6. No transparency. Although game companies can be a competitive environment, when everyone holds their information close to their chests, the industry as a whole suffers. For example, companies rarely share their digital sales data or budgets. There's also a distinct lack of open sourcing. You might think giving code, art assets, and design expertise to your competitors is a bad idea. But we've already seen the power of open source speed up development and innovation in other industries. Open sourcing might give up some competitive advantage, but it also empowers individual creators and people who might join your company in the future. Rather than every studio having to build everything from scratch, you can apply your engineering efforts to territory uncharted by the human race. So there you have it. 6 reasons why today's game companies suck. If you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. See you next time.